Welcome to the Saturday preview show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Patrick Mullen, joined by Alan Ruff and Alison McConnell on the couch this week as we look ahead to what is set to be another busy week of Scottish Premiership fixtures. We'll get straight into it. Ruffy, Motherwell versus Hibs. David Gray, pressure still on, still bottom of the table. 9-game winless run. Is this a must-win?
I think he needs to keep getting points. Wins would be great. You know, I actually thought the midweek there, I thought he was a minute away from being sacked. It just shows you what football's like, you know. 3-2 defeat would have been it, I think, but they're obviously getting the late goal and now everybody's fighting together and you can see the celebration. So, no, it's all about just don't get beat.
Obviously for Motherwell, Alison, a positive start to the season, but it's now 4 defeats in their last 6. That inconsistency for Stuart Kettlewell has got to be what he wants to eradicate.
Yeah, that's what he'll be scratching his head about, and I think that will undermine them if they wish to finish top 6. I think they had a very good start to the campaign. However, I think that it's inevitable that every team suffers a bit of a blip at some stage of the campaign. I think you'll want to rectify that as quickly as possible because it's now a fairly gruelling run of games between now and January, and of course no winter break this year either for teams. So I think he'll just want to settle things, get some points on the board, and I think certainly given the start they had to the season, they'll be keen to to be pushing for that top 6 this term.
Score prediction?
I'm going to say Hibs to win 2-1.
Oh, Ruffy?
No, I'm going to sit in the fence in this one. I'm going to go 1 each.
Kilmarnock versus Dundee, second game. 4 wins for Killie in their opening 20 fixtures. It's not quite going to plan despite some famous scalps.
No, it's not, you know, but I think if you're in the media, you just want to turn up for the last 5 minutes and catch who's going to win that game because that's the way it seems to be going. No, I think the inconsistency is there. You know, they were up top 6 last year and they're doing well. The front 2 were doing well last year. You get a lot of bonus points for going with 2 strikers, but it hasn't been happening for them this year. So I think this is a difficult one to call.
Tony Dock's Dundee, they must be confident. 4-1 win over Hibs. Do you fancy them?
Yeah, and of course Tony Dock and Derek McInnes, huge pals, having worked together up at Aberdeen. I think it'll be a draw. I think I'm going to go for 2 each.
2 each, Ruffy?
I'm going to get home win here, 2-1.
2-1 for Ruffy. Celtic versus Ross County, the league leaders coming in off the back of that point against Club Brugge. Aberdeen on Wednesday. Do you think they might maybe rotate the squad a little bit?
Yeah, I think he will. You know, he's got enough players in there to, particularly at home, I think he would be a wee bit anxious if it was up at Ross County. But at home, you know, you give as many players a game as possible. Ross County have made it hard for Celtic in a couple of games, so he has to keep his eye on, you know, the players that are on for him. But I think he'll play the most of them, and I think we all think it should be a Celtic win.
Only 1 defeat in the last 5 for Ross County, but you look at it, Celtic away this weekend, Rangers at home next. Do you see almost these 2 games just a freak hit almost for Don Cowie's side?
Yeah, I think so. I think if the game was at Dingwall, they would maybe fancy making it awkward. You saw how difficult they were for Celtic just a month or so ago when they really needed to introduce their subs and change it up in the latter stages of the game. I think they'll try and set up to be as organised as possible. They'll know that Celtic are going to dominate the ball. I think they'll try and work to restrict the space that Celtic have got available to them. However, I can't see anything other than a straightforward afternoon for Celtic, even coming on the back of a fairly demanding game on Wednesday night in the Champions League against Club Brugge. I think Celtic have just got too much. I think when you look through the squad, you look at the players who didn't start, you look at the manner in which Brendan Rodgers can rotate the team. He could maybe start with Ida, give Kyogo a rest and bring him back in for the game, and Pittodrie can change the left back situation to Greg Taylor started the other night. He'll maybe start with Ali. So I think Celtic are just too strong over the piece.
Ali's going for a win, Ruffy. You the same?
Yeah, I'm going to go for 3-0.
Final game on Saturday, Dundee United versus St Mirren. Not bad for St Mirren in their last 4, 3 wins and a draw. Do you think they'll keep it up?
Yeah, I think they will. I think they're a big, robust side. I think they cause you problems, free kicks, corners particularly. I think that could be an asset for them. I do think it'll be quite tight. You know, I don't think there'll be many goals in it, so I might have to sit in the fence in this one.
Dundee United, they've been good this season, but this is a fixture they do struggle in. Just 1 win in their last 5 in this fixture at Tanner Dice. Jim Goodwin, a bit maybe too inconsistent this season.
I think I think they'll be hugely encouraged by the way they've started the season. Come straight up from the Championship. I think it's been positive. Still sitting in fourth. I think St Mirren could leapfrog them. I think if St Mirren were to win, they could take over them in terms of points. I think they'd go a point ahead of them. Jim Goodwin, of course, played for St Mirren, so there's always, you'd be assured, a particular kind of welcome, I suspect, by the visiting support. But yeah, I think St Mirren in recent weeks, I think you've seen more evidence of the team they were last season. I think they've recovered after a fairly turbulent time on and off the park, but I think it'll be a share of the points and at Tannadice.
A draw?
Draw for me, yeah, one each.
Draw for you. Moving on to Sunday, St Johnstone versus Rangers. Ali, these Rangers fans surely are hoping this team can transfer that Thursday form into a Sunday.
It is the conundrum, isn't it? You see a Rangers team in Europe and you see them domestically and they look like imitations of one another. I think Rangers fans, I think the Rangers manager in particular, the players will all be looking to harness the energy of that performance. I wonder if the team stays the same. I think a couple of notable absentees over in France with James Tavernier left out, Dessers left out. I thought Rangers looked a better team without the minute, so I'll be curious to see what kind of team takes to the pitch. Pressure is hugely on Phillippe Clement. I don't think Thursday dissipates the noise around the team because domestically I think they remain 11 points off of Celtic and there is still a real bit of unrest around it, so there is no question they still have to win. Anything else isn't good enough, and I think they will win simply because they've got to.
Simo Valakari, he'll be looking for that almost big first statement win since being St Johnstone boss. Do you think we could maybe see an upset?
I think early on, if they come out the way they've been coming, two strikers with Clark playing off them, I think they'll give Rangers a bit of problem. I think they'll press them a lot more than what they get pressed in Europe. But I think Rangers would want to take other games to Europe because that's what they play particularly well. So, I think initially St Johnstone will make it difficult, but I think Rangers again will have too many shots at goal on or off target, and I think the majority of them will eventually hit the net.
Score prediction?
3-0 Rangers.
I'm going to say 2-1 Rangers.
Okay, both going for Rangers. Final game of the weekend, Hearts versus Aberdeen. The Jambos, they're struggling again, but are you seeing improvements under Neil Critchley?
Not particularly, no. I think early on he had the wee kick on at the start, but it's not happening now. Obviously, we've talked about Lawrence Shankland every week now that we're here, and again, missing the penalty is not going to help him either. But he's a quality striker, and he's got to come up with the goods sometimes, and I'm sure they'll be hoping it's at the weekend. But again, it's another tough one for Aberdeen. That's a couple of draws. I'd like to think they would try and get a win, because every time they draw, you would think if Rangers are winning, they're going to close that gap. So I think that's the game of the weekend for me.
A draw and a defeat for Aberdeen recently. They'll be looking to almost build some momentum heading into that Celtic game. Do you think they'll bounce back?
I think they will. And I think they will win at Tynecastle on Sunday. I think no one really expected them to lose apart from Ruffy last weekend at St Mirren. But I think to have just taken 1 point out of the last 6 that were available, I think they'll be keen to rectify it. I think Hearts look like a team just now who are bereft of any kind of confidence, composure, and I think that's encapsulated just in the performance of Lawrence Shankland.
Brilliant. Now we'll head into the quiz part of the show. Ruffy, new opponent today. You confident?
Yeah, I know, because I haven't won at all. It's Alison.
Oh, here we go.
2-5-0. So
oh, really?
Well done that.
I've tried to make them as family friendly as possible. Right, question number 1. Rangers won 4-1 in the Europa League on Thursday against Nice. Which player scored the opening goal?
Oh.
I know, I can't pronounce his name. Begins with an I. Did I get a point for that? No.
It's not.
It's not him.
Václav Černý.
Okay.
Václav Černý opened the
Černý
scoring
scored the
for
first
Rangers.
goal. Wow.
Who was the last team Hibs beat?
St Johnstone.
St Johnstone. 1-0 to Ruffy. Who is Dundee United's top goal scorer this season?
So far this season.
So far this season.
Dalby.
Half point maybe?
Yeah,
half point?
half.
1.5, right. Who will Scotland play in the Nations League playoffs
Nice.
in March? Oh, Ruffy's on it today. And how many red cards have Kilmarnock received this season
5.
in all competitions?
6.
Ruffy, an unbelievable performance. Congratulations, Ali.
Bring back Ali next week.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, well, that's what we've sadly got time for today on the Saturday morning preview show. Enjoy all of the games if you're heading out to one this weekend. From myself, Ruffy and Alison, thanks for joining us here on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel.